Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Straight Up with Morgan and Vody. Sorry we've been quiet. I know it's been a while since we last posted, but yeah, it's just COVID-19 has had us locked down, and then obviously we didn't Zoom as much as we should have. But anyway, we're back now, and even though there's no sport to really talk of, it's still been fairly busy in the world of sports. So yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't say from a results point of view, but Vody, I mean, there has been a fair amount of things happening, hasn't there?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are trying to sort out their admin side of things and kind of restructuring a lot, which is fair enough. This is the perfect time to start doing that. And I think from top to bottom, rugby needs to sort itself out anyway. I mean, I was actually thinking the other day that if rugby keeps going on the path or the road that it is on now, I don't know how much of it's really going to be left in 5 years' time, to be honest with you. Because even watching before Super Rugby ended, like honestly, like Super Rugby was getting boring. Like how many games did you actually go sit and watch? Or how many
Yeah.
times did you just kind of forget that there was Super Rugby on? You know?
Yeah, I must be honest.
So
I mean, look. But speaking of, you mentioned earlier that that Bill Beaumont and Augustine Prashot, that World Rugby chairperson, and all that kind of stuff. I was quite disappointed to see Prashot not get it, purely based on the fact that
me too.
Bill
Me
Beaumont
too.
has come out and said now that he's kind of an advocate for the whole idea of um, sort of what's this a joined
The global
season, the
the
global
global
season.
season. Yeah. So look, Bill has been chairman for 4 years before this, and PJ was his, or Gus was his vice chairman. And I think right from the start, Gus has been, I think in his first year, he already was like gunning at people. And I think the first thing that he changed, just like he changed that the 3 year residency rule to 5 years. That was
Yeah,
the first thing he did at World Rugby.
but he
He was
since
also a
stepped down,
massive,
right?
so he's completely stepped down. So he was running for chairman against Bill Beaumont.
Yeah, that's right.
He did still have a chair on World Rugby board, but I don't think he's going to keep it. Um, look, I've been listening to quite a few of his interviews, and I really started liking him. He's such a passionate guy, and he really wants to take rugby forward. Which is great. I mean, he's a younger guy. He's more involved in technology kind of things, and it's really, I mean, rugby really needs a massive transformation now. So I think he would have been the perfect guy for that. I do think the people at World Rugby themselves are too conservative, and they don't like someone that wants to make too many changes. Bill has been saying now, but he's kind of just taking his ideas and ideas that have been on the table for the last 4 years, and
Yeah,
now saying he's going to do it and he's going to change it. But honestly, what has really changed in rugby, except changing stupid, ridiculous rules? What has really changed and made rugby better in the last 10 years?
yeah, but you
So
know what?
I don't know.
I just think we lack the entertainment factor. I mean, I spoke about this before, but when I went overseas earlier, this towards the end of last year actually, and I mean, just the entertainment factor for me is lacking. It's 90 minutes or 80 minutes of rugby or soccer, whatever it is. But other than that, what are we really giving our viewers? And yes, we can debate law changes and are the law changes promoting, giving the ball air and having playing expensive game of rugby. But the reality is that I think a global season is the way forward. I mean, I just think, it also allows for privatization of a lot of our unions, which I think is potentially also uh, a good thing.
Oh, that's a big,
We can then start to compete
yeah.
with the European, so we can see the best South African rugby players playing rugby in South Africa. Because if
So,
any,
I mean, at the moment we've got 240 professional players playing overseas, and after the contract
yeah,
situation and transfer situation that we had last week, they're going to be even more of them, and I'm sure in the coming months, as contracts start ending and things, we're even going to have more players playing there. Makes sense from a money point of view, but we have money in South Africa. Don't tell me that we don't have that money, that we can't keep our players here and have billionaires buying our franchises and making it look. They want to make money, so they're going to put the proper effort into it to make money
yeah,
and keep the players here. Um, but I mean, a few years, 10 years ago, not even a few years ago, look how massive our Curry Cup in South Africa was. We filled stadiums of 50,000 people in a local derby between the Stormers and the Bulls. The kids had the entertainment. They could meet the players. They could shake their hands, get their autographs. People were buying before the time. You couldn't go to the
yeah,
stadium. You organize a big braai at your house or in a drinks in a pub with a group of people. I mean, now these days you're kind of like, I'll watch the highlights. That's fine. So unless people can buy into this product and make it more exciting and better viewership on TV and better match day experiences, we're really gonna lose interest. I mean, rugby in Australia is dead.
Well,
Currie Cup in South Africa is dead.
Well, my big argument has always been, and again, the move to Cape Town Stadium, I think, is probably the right idea, purely based on the fact that I'm hoping that we can see double headers between soccer matches and rugby matches all at the same time, same venue, and so forth. Maybe we'll fill stadiums that way. But if we just focus on the rugby side of things, we don't have the best rugby players in South African rugby players playing in South Africa. And I completely understand that the euro and the pound is way more appealing than the rand. And I get that. And if I was a rugby player still, I would have gone a long time ago. But we need to find a way to compete. And I think a global season is the only way to compete, because not only does it open the door for foreign investment into rugby in South Africa, but it also allows, the international windows and so forth. All the international windows, then it's a one international window. We played the game. All internationals are happening at the same time. The end of year tour is not a watered down event because South Africa off the back end of their season, England only starting their season. So we eliminate those kind of problems. And then I think Australia and New Zealand will all buy in, and we'll start to see a really, really sort of product that is now becoming way more sellable. Because I think, are we producing a sellable product is up for debate.
I mean, I think the only people that really think rugby means something is the people at the top. So people at the top think rugby is absolutely everything. But the moment that you step out of that, rugby is probably about a fourth or fifth tier sport, really. A lot of people don't know anything about it. So you have to get to the level of NFL, of Premier Football. You have to get to that kind of level with rugby if you really want to make it sellable. And that was what Gus was also gunning for, is he says, with FIFA, you have like PlayStation games that you can play. So kids know the players and they play and they use them. I think we played that Jonah Lomo game when we were kids, and I don't think anything has gotten any better since. So get kids involved that way. Kids love being in the house and playing computer games and whatever they call it. I don't play, but so clearly I don't play. But get things like that going, and with the global season, I think it comes down to streamlining everything. So have your competitions, have your Currie Cup, have your NPC Australian League, have your British and Irish Lions, your Pro or top 14 in France. You can even have a Japanese league if you want, and a South American league, and you bring the top teams of that together and you play in the playoffs afterwards.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see still the Heineken Cup, still the Super Rugby, but like a global challenge cup, which sees the top 6 of the Heineken Cup, the top 6 of the NPC, the top 6 of, not NPC, Super Rugby encapsulates NPC. So top 6 of Super Rugby, top 6 of Heineken Cup, and find another top 6 somewhere and have another 18 competition, sort of like the FA Cup, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But you can't have Super Rugby the way it is now if you want to be doing that. And then you have to change it, because now the top teams are not the top teams that end at the top of the log.
Or do something like the Premier League, but internationally.
Yeah. But then there's a lot of traveling and money, and everyone wants these amazing things to happen, but no one actually wants to dish out that money out of their pockets to do it. Northern Hemisphere is not going to pay for this. They want to keep the money where that is. Southern Hemisphere not necessarily have the money at the moment to be able to do that. So everyone's got these great ideas of help the emerging nations, but no one will actually take out that money, put it on the table and say, this is how we can create a better product in rugby. And it's until that's going to happen. And now Northern World Rugby has got 2 Northern Hemispheres. So Bill Beaumont from England, and then they've got a Frenchman as the vice chairman. So it's all Northern Hemisphere rugby. The Southern Hemisphere, they don't have that strong voice anymore in World Rugby. So I don't really know what's going to happen. Sanzar is going to have to up their game if they want to keep rugby here. If they want to keep South Africa in the rugby champs and not have South Africa move to the Six Nations, which will be weird in itself. But so a lot of those things will definitely have to change.
Yeah.
But
Tommy,
for me,
No, carry on. I'm
Yeah.
listening. No, carry on.
No, for me, one thing that I think also, because we were talking about the entertainment factor earlier, our commentating has to be better. And I think I've complained about this before. You have to get someone that is current, that's exciting and informed, opinionated. You don't want these old guys that have been saying the same things for the last 20 years. You want something new and like I said, opinionated and emerging. And like really, you want to get like drawn into the game. So I think there's so many things that can change and that will make the product much better. It's just, are they going to do it?
And the reality is, I mean, the new norm of COVID after COVID-19 is going to be, are we going to have empty stadiums? How are we going to create an atmosphere for viewers at home? Then the commentators and so forth play even bigger role because there is no cheering and screaming at the grounds. It's interesting times that lie ahead. I mean, what else has happened during the last, 5 weeks that we've been in lockdown? What have we been in lockdown for now? 6, 7, 8 weeks? I'm not sure. 51 days, I think that's what
51 or 52 or something in the 50 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jake White.
Jake White's been busy at the Bulls. Oh my gosh. Tell me about it.
That's a whole conversation on its own, but this is not good news for South African rugby. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Ex-World Cup winning Springbok coach.
No. I think for me, South Africa has been on on a good track. Like everyone, all the unions are kind of got the same goal in mind. And Rassie and Jacques has been able to really like bring everyone together and play. And now you get this guy whose ego is way too big for his own good, bringing him into the structure. I mean, he's also now the coach. He's the same as like what Rassie was doing. He's director of rugby and he's head coach for the Bulls. And instead of bringing in the young guys and deciding, okay, let's build up a team over 2 years, he's buying all these older players from overseas to come back to win one season. And look, his track record is not exactly great. He's never like really seen anything through. He's left teams after a year, after 2 years. So if you really want to be building up until the next World Cup, you need a coach that's going to buy into what everyone is kind of doing, and he's not that guy. I think he's
working all towards us for the Springbok cause. So, I mean, look, Dwayne Vermeulen's coming back purely based on the British and Irish Lions that's around the corner. And then
he was always going to come back in July. This is not news. He was always going to come back to the Bulls in July.
Oh no, Boet is not a bad signing. I see potential there. Look, they're going to lose. Who do they lose? They're losing a lot of players. I mean, they've got to do some building. And I hear what you're saying, and there's a bit of merit in what you're saying. But I have to think also that, the Bulls have been fairly average for the last couple of years. And the only way to sort of give the youngsters what they require in order to make them great one day is to include 1 or 2 senior players so that you have this filtration of experienced players sort of giving, sort of feeding their knowledge down to the younger guys so that when the experienced guys go, the younger guys have now had the experience of having these older senior guys there and they can carry on that baton going forward. But I think senior players is a good sign. I think Marcel van der Merwe is a great guy to bring back. He's still young enough to play for the Boks and further on. Dwayne Vermeulen's always been a leader. I think he's a good signing. Arno Botha, I think, has also he captained, I think, our South Africa under-21s or our junior Springboks before. So he's got leadership qualities in him. And if we can add 1 or 2 of the Bulls youngsters that are there, Geo Aplon, I'm a big advocate of his. I mean, I played with him and he's a great rugby player and we can't deny that. And I think he will guide. I think they might lose Warwick Galant. I think they know they're going to lose Warwick Galant to the Stormers. And with that, they need a senior fullback or a senior back there that's going to be able to guide the younger guys through. So, and Geo's a great mentor. He's got his head screwed on. And he might be able to be the right guy to guide the Bulls' backline. He may not play every game. Although he's still electrifying. He's still got, a sort of an educated left boot. So, I don't see necessarily anything wrong with the signings Jake has made if we consider that there are still a lot of youngsters from the Bulls currently that they're going to add to the mix. And then you might just get quite a nice little mix of youth and experience.
Yeah, but remember, they've also signed a lot of senior players even before Super Rugby started. So now there's almost a bigger group of senior players there than instead of the youngsters. I agree with you that there needs to be senior players and youngsters involved in a group. But as a rugby player, I think you also need to realize, or as any sportsman, not just as a rugby player, you have to realize and make peace with the fact that your role is changing into a mentor and not into a player anymore. Signing a guy of 29 years old, because I think that's how old Marcel is, and now saying that he's still young enough to play a next World Cup, not necessarily, because the guy that is now 24 will be 28 at that point, or 27 or whatever.
Yeah, but remember, going to the World Cup, you need a prop. Props only mature at 30,
we
31,
have
32.
props. We have props. We don't have an issue with props. So why bring someone back who's been playing overseas
You can never have enough
time?
props.
We have enough good ones.
Name them. Wilco Lowe's gone. Trevor Nyakane.
He's not gone. He's playing overseas. He's still going to play for the Springboks.
Well, Willie. Myself and Amara's definitely an incumbent Springbok, I believe.
What, at the age of 34?
Yeah, look what every single World Cup that we've won, we've gone there with, 95, Oosterrand was past his sell-by date, almost.
Yeah, but they've been playing in South Africa.
It's not 95, sorry, 2009.
2009.
Oosterrand was past his sell-by date. 2007, what am I talking about? Yeah, 2007. And then you go on 20 to the last one. We had a Beast there. Beast was close to retiring before the World Cup, and then Rassie made sure that he kept him. The same is going to have to apply with one or two players that we have now. And I think up front is the one place that you can get away with it. I think
absolutely. But if you're talking about experience, you're also talking about Springbok experience, about World Cup experience. You can't have a guy making his debut in a World Cup and then telling me that he's got experience. He doesn't.
No, but myself and Amaba is not going to make his debut for the Springboks in 4 years' time.
As for a World Cup. So talking about experience at a World Cup, it means that person had to be there before. So you've got Kitstoff, and you've got Thomas Troy, and you've got Wilkelo, and you've got
I think you can never have enough props, to be honest. I just feel like prop is that one position that you just prop and lock, to be honest. Also locks
we're not exactly struggling in any of those positions in South Africa.
Well, I don't think we're as blessed as you may think when you start to put the names on paper and see who's really available. Then I think we may just it may change, but nonetheless, it is what it is, and going forward, I think what Jake's doing is I get why it rubs some people up the wrong way, but I also get that if I was the director of rugby and I put myself in his shoes, I would probably have made one or two senior acquisitions the way he has. Quite shrewdly, guys on the back end of their careers wanting to look to come home. So potentially financially, they may not be expecting as much money as when they were young and still, and then you surround them with a bunch of youngsters, up and coming youngsters, and you may be able to find a winning formula. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Jake has been.
Yeah. It's like he's been quite a successful player, but also not really. What he's done at the Brumbies is great, but as soon as he left, he didn't leave a very good legacy behind and a very good kind of like team spirit behind. He's not a
I get that.
As soon as he left, so it's not good. Like I said, for future of South African rugby, I don't think this is a good appointment. Rather take a young coach now, send him overseas, let him get some experience, and then bring them back. Start doing that now. Bring him in as a consultant if you want him to help. I just don't think his ego fits in with where South African rugby is going. Like I said, I think the South African rugby is quite healthy at the moment. Everyone bought into it. Everyone is part of it. Everyone believes in the guys again. Bringing in a guy who's only there for his own ego and kind of trying to finish something that he hasn't been able to do yet, that's not a good sign for me, and not a good person to have in a healthy environment.
Look, we clearly need to be speaking a lot more often because there's so much we can cover. And I don't know, how long have we been chatting? We've already been flying. Too long. So let's catch up again a little bit later in the week, maybe. And cover a few more topics. I also want to cover who's left and who's staying. Who do we actually have left in South African rugby?
So maybe later in the week we can chat about that transfer list. And everything's confirmed now. And then...
that list looks fairly interesting. This Peter Steph the Toy story still...
he's got a great agent. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah, I know, right? He's neither been confirmed nor has he been denied. That's crazy. But let's maybe dive into that alongside the other players that we know are leaving. Dylan Lade's unfortunate from Western Province point of view. We know he's going alongside one or two others. But let's dive into it a little bit later in the week. I know the Bulls also lost a few guys. The Lions lost plenty.
Lions again.
we need to
Shame.
dive into that. But let's wait. Let's chat later in the week, and let's try and make this a regular thing. Sorry, guys. I know we've been lazy, but it is all Vodie's fault. So we promised to be a lot
Okay.
at touching base. We've got no excuse now because we're stuck at home. So we've got no excuse. Our in the car chats will continue once lockdown is lifted. Or I'm going to try and find a perspex sheet that I can put between Vodie and myself, and then we can sit and drive and chat. Anyway.
It doesn't have to be see-through. I don't have to see you.
Yeah, it's just I just switch the camera between the two of us. But thank you so much for watching again. Give us your feedback and let us know your thoughts on what's happening in the world of rugby so far. Should there be a global season or not? Maybe we'll go post something on our Instagram page on whether or not you believe there should be a global season. And we'll try to keep active on our Instagram as well at @straightup_SA. So check it out and let us know your thoughts. But thanks for watching again. Catch you guys again soon. Peace out, and thank heaven Vodie won't be able to copy me with the peace out.